All right, welcome to the Unit 2 test review. We're going to go through everything that you're going to see on the test. So best of luck to you. Number one, unlike the quiz, you're actually going to get all 5 of these in number 1. So you'll have to identify all 5 on the test when you guys take it. So terms, how many number of terms are there? We're just looking for a number for all of these, by the way. Let's circle them real quick. Let me kind of zoom in, circle this. So this is 1 term, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 terms. We have 6 terms. Variables. Let's see if we can kind of count them out. I like to make a list here to help me out. So I have X, Z, what else? A, B, X, A, B. I already wrote X. I'm not going to write that again. A, already got that one. C, that's new. D, that's a new one. And so that's it. X, Z, A, B, C, D. So it's got to be 6 variables, 6 different variables. Now we'll look at degree. So we got to go term by term. So again, add the exponents. So this term has a degree of 6 because you add the 4 and the 2. This term has a degree of 7 because it's 3, 1, and 3. 3, 1, and 3 add up to 7. So don't forget that. A variable without the exponent has the exponent of 1. This is just going to be 1. This is a constant, so it's 0. This one is a 5. 4 and 1 makes 5. And then this is just, again, 0. So the highest degree was 7. 7 is going to be our degree. Don't forget, you are just doing highest there. Coefficients. Coefficients. So coefficients are the numbers in front of the variable term. So -4 is a coefficient, 9 is a coefficient, -13 is. 7 is not. 7 doesn't have any variables. -10 is, and then -1 again is not because it doesn't have any variables. So there are 4 coefficients. And then finally, constants. Constants are the numbers without variables, which are the 2 that I just crossed off, the 7 and the 1. No variables and no variables. So 2 and 7 and -1 are 2 constants, only 2 constants. All right. So that is it for number 1. Number 2. Tomorrow it is a different formula. It's actually it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just different letters. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, in this case, solve the equation for each one of the variables. So we're going to solve for P, we're going to solve for V, N, R, and T, all 5. So we're essentially going to do the problem 5 times. So if we do it for P, let's set this up. So P, V equals N, R, T. So if we solve for P, then we'll have to divide by V to cancel it out. So we'll divide this side by V. And so we'll have our answer, P will equal nRT divided by V. So that's one answer. Next up, we'll solve for V. So PV equals nRT. So we're going to solve for V. So to solve for V, we're going to divide by P and cancel out P. Okay, so basically, remember, all you're essentially doing is just dividing by whatever letter is on that side that you don't want. So if we're solving for V, then we don't want the P because it's on the same side. So we're getting rid of that. And so that leaves us with a V equals nRT divided by P. Just 3 more. Next one, we're going to solve for N. So PV equals nRT. To solve for N, notice that N has the RT on that side, and we're going to get rid of both the R and the T because we want to solve for N. We want the N by itself. So we're going to divide by R and T. So N is going to equal PV divided by RT. All right, almost there. 2 more. Next, we're going to solve for R. So for R, we want to cancel out the N and the T. So we'll divide by N, we'll divide by T, cancel those out. So do that to this side as well, divided by N and T. So we're going to have R equal to PV divided by NT. And then finally, PV equals NRT. We're going to solve for T. So to solve for T, we're going to divide by the n and the r to cancel out those. So over here, divide by the same thing. So my answer is t will equal PV divided by NR. So those are 5 answers. So similar to the quiz, it's going to be a multiple select question. So some of the answer choices will be correct on the test. Some of them will be incorrect. So you'll want to solve for all 5 of them, and then obviously pick all the ones that are correctly on the test. Similar to what we did on the quiz too. All right, so question number 3. Find the value of x so that the function has a given value. Okay, so I'll basically solve for x. So the k of x is 25. So 25 is going to go in and replace k of x. So 25 is going to go right there. It's not going to go into the regular x. So the 15x minus 20 is still 15x minus 20. And now when we solve this, obviously, we'll just solve for x. So we'll start by adding 20 to both sides. So add 20 here, add 20 here. Okay. So we have 25 plus 20, which is going to be 45, equal to 15x. And then we need to divide by 15. So we end up having 45 divided by 15, which is 3, equal to x. So that's it. Answer is just 3. You'll just type that in on the test. Question number 4. Find the function notation in slope-intercept form from the data table. So we saw a question like this. It was question number 10 on the quiz. So let's work this one out. We'll see how to do this one. So first thing you'll have to do is find the slope. So slope, remember slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So pick any 2 pairs of points. I'll just pick the first 2 to make it easy. So we'll call this x1 and y1 and x2 and y2. And we'll plug these in. So y2 minus y1 is 0 minus 12. And then x2 minus x1 is 1 minus negative 2. So this would be negative 12 over 3, because you'll add them, right? This will become a plus 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So this becomes negative 4. Negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4. Then what we'll do is we'll go to our point slope equation. So remember point slope, it's written on the board if you guys forget, but it's this, y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. All right, so m is going to be our slope. We just calculated that, obviously. So we're going to need to put that on here. Our slope is negative 4. Now, x1 and y1, you can use the x1, y1 that we've already counted, like negative 2 and 12. You can use any pair of points if you want. To be dramatic about it, I'm going to use the 8 and negative 28 as my x1 and y1 that I'm going to actually plug into here. So 8 for the x1, and then negative 28 for the y1 is going to make this a plus 28. So keep that in mind. Remember, when you plug in a negative, it'll change the minus sign to a plus. All right. So I've got the slope. Remember, I carried that over into this equation, and then I picked any point to plug in for the x1 and y1. You just have to remember positive numbers will have the minus sign, and negative numbers will have the plus sign. So now we just solve it. And to solve it, we'll distribute. So we'll have negative 4x. Negative 4 plus or times negative 8 is going to be positive 32. So negative 4x plus 32. Still have the y plus 28 over there. And then we will subtract the 28 to move it to the other side. And so final answer, we have y equals negative 4x plus 4. 32 minus 28 is 4. So this is our final answer here. All right. Question number 5. So this one is just plugging it in. So be careful about that. So this is 3 to the negative 2 power. Now, you can type this in a calculator as well, but I encourage you to do it this way. It's still going to be 3 to the second power, but what's going to happen is it's going to be relocated to the bottom part of a fraction. And if there's nothing else to put on the fraction, then the top part's going to be a 1. So 3 to negative 2 power is really just the same as 1 over 3 to the second power. So the negative exponent, it's very important that you understand this. The negative exponent doesn't make anything negative. The negative exponent only moves this whole thing to the bottom. And then now it's in the bottom, it's not going to be negative. So the negative is just telling you to relocate it here. And 1 is relocated there, you can do it like normal. So this ultimately becomes 1 over 9. Because of course 3 squared is 9, so it's 1 over 9. That's it. That's the answer. If you got it as a decimal form would be roughly 0.11. But yeah, 1/9 or 0.11. Good answers. All right, number 6. So this is actually going to be 2 separate questions on the test. The first one's going to be what's the A value, and then the next question is going to be what's the B value. But we're going to obviously do A and B for both of these charts. So for chart A, remember the A value is going to be the starting value. So for table A, it starts at 4. So this A value is 4. For the B value is the change from one to the next. So what is it you're multiplying by? In this case, it's doubling, timesing by 2. So that is your B value. B is the multiplying by 2. So A is 4 and B is 2. And that's all there is to that. And then we'll do it again for the second table. So the A value is our starting amount, which is again the 30 in this case. So A is 30. And then our B value, let's look at it. So we're going from 30 to 10, 10 to 10 thirds, to 10 ninths, to 10 27ths. We're multiplying by a third every time. You can think it's dividing by 3. You're not wrong. But as far as the B value goes, it's 1/3. So keep that in mind. You're multiplying by 1/3. So the B value is 1/3, not 3, not dividing by 3. It has to be a number, just a number, like a fraction. If it's division, it's a fraction. Just keep that in mind. If you're dividing here, you have to put your answer in as a fraction. So 1/3. That's good. That's good. That's actually 2 questions there in one. So this is 6 and 7 on the test. This would be number 8 on the test, this next one. So we have a formula for this. $50,000 is invested at 4%. Formula is y equals a 1 plus r to the x power. So a is your starting amount of $50,000. Your r is your rate, in this case, 4%. So that'll be 0.04. Don't forget to make that a decimal. And then x is your time in years, which of course is 15. So put this in a calculator and see what the outcome is. I have my calculator in hand. I'm going to use that. So I'm typing it in exactly as I wrote it. And then to the 15th power. So we get the answer for this one is $90,047 and 18 cents. Actually, it rounds up a little bit, 18 cents. So don't forget that this should always be to 2 decimal places. If you're dealing with money at all, make sure you round your answer to 2 decimal places. It's always just kind of a rule of thumb. All right, number 8. Does a linear, quadratic, or exponential function model the best model of the data? All right, so you might get any one of the 3 types. So let's look at what we have here. So if you look at 8, the first table, we go from 1/3 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 9, 9 to 27, 27 to 81. It's clear that this one is multiplying by 3 every time. So since it's multiplying by 3, that makes this one exponential. All right, looking at the next table, its pattern is a bit different. You go from -8 to -5, which is an increase in 3. 3 to -2, which is an increase in 3. -2 to 1, which is an increase in 3. 1 to 4 and 4 to 7, both also increases in 3. So because we're adding the same amount every single time, this makes it linear. And then final table. Again, it's not multiplying, but we can see a pattern. 0 to -1 is down 1. -1 to 0 is up 1. 0 to 3 is up 3. 3 to 8 is up 5. And 8 to 15 is up 7. So it's not exponential because we're not multiplying. It's not linear because we're adding by different amounts. But if we take the differences of these differences, -1 to +1 is an increase in 2. 1 to 3 is an increase in 2. 3 to 5 is an increase in 2. 5 to 7 is an increase in 2. These all have second differences, common second differences. So not the first differences, these are all different, but the second set was all the same. This indicates to us a quadratic function. So be careful about that. Make sure you remember that one, okay? And then final question, remember this will be number 10 on the test. Don't forget, this was going to be 6 and 7. This question would be 8. This question would be 9. And then this question would be 10. So average rate of change. The best way to do this is by plugging them in and then doing the slope formula. So essentially we have 2 points, right? We already know the x values of these points. We have 0.2 something and we have 0.5 something. So what we need to know is we need to know the y values. If we know the y values, then we can do y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. But I need the y values. So in order for us to find the y values, I've got to plug in 2 to the function to get its y value. And then I got to plug 5 into the function to get its y value. So let's try that out. Our function is x squared plus 4x. So we're going to plug in 2 first. So we're going to do 2 squared plus 4 times 2. So this becomes 4 plus 8, which is 12. So that is the y value for that point. And then we'll also do it for the 5. We have to do 5 squared plus 4 times 5. 5 squared is 25, and 4 times 5 is 20. So 25 plus 20 is 45. All right. So now I have my points. Now I can do my slope formula, basically. So my slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So in this case, it's going to be the 45 minus 12 over the 5 minus 2, our x values, 5 minus 2. All right, so 45 minus 12 is 33. And 5 minus 2 is just 3. So we have 33 over 3, which simplifies to 11. So our slope is 11. The rate of change is 11. All right. So just to recap that one again, I know from the beginning of the problem that we have points at 2 and 5. So x values of 2 and x values of 5. The only problem is I don't have the y values. So what I did again is I plugged in the 2 to get the y value for it, which was 12. And I plugged in the 5 to get the y value for it, which is 45. So then I had my 2 points, 212 and 545, which I then did the slope formula with. y2 minus y1, so 45 minus 12, over x2 minus x1, so 5 minus 2, which came out to 33 over 3, which is 11. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. That's it for the test review. Hopefully it helps. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I'll see you in class, and best of luck on the test.